Gianni, hey, congratulations on your new film, Damaged.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks. Hopefully you liked it.
I did. I just love these type of, mystery murder films, in the theme of Seven, that kind of stuff. And you did very, very well in this film.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the genre as well. So, Seven, I love movies like Seven and Bone Collector and Zodiac. Up there, right up there with you.
So let's ask that obligatory question first is what initially drew you that you want to be a part of this project?
Well, I just, again, I'm such a huge fan of this genre. So for me, when you see the final product of that script and you're like, I know it's going to be special. It's ticks the boxes, for me. And I just feel that it always keeps the viewer and the audience on the edge of their seats because you can never really get comfortable. The minute you go, it's her or it's him, suddenly you're like, oh, wait a minute, it's not. Right. Okay. Well, how's that? Oh, right. And I think that's what it's all about. And there's been some like I always refer to like Red Wedding and Game of Thrones. It's like you just want to turn the tables, and that's I feel like the script kind of has it. So I definitely that's what really drew me into this being a part of it.
So as an actor, how do you read these scripts that is so, how can you say, so many with so many twists and turns? Do you basically read it in chunks, or you or is it so interesting that you had to read it like all at once? I mean, what's
Probably,
your process?
I probably read about I don't know, read at least a script a week. Two script. I mean, I honestly, there's nothing. I it's I'm tired of reading. I don't know, but usually a good sign of a script is you don't put it down, and that's usually how you kind of judge it, unless your kids are trying to drag you away to the park or something. But no, I think when you read the final product of Damage, the script from A to it just captivates you, and you kind of see, and I think as an actor, you kind of live the characters in your head, and you act it out in your head, kind of thing. So, but it was I think it ticks the boxes.
Most excellent. Now, what do you like about playing in the Inspector Boyd in this film? Because he's not just a standard, typical cop. He's very, how can you say, well-rounded in background and personality.
Yeah, he's not this tough, cookie cut cop. He's vulnerable. He's just lost his kid. He's nice. He's got a great relationship with his superintendent. Um, and then suddenly these murders appear, and now someone's flying in. Nice cat. Uh, um, somebody's flying in from Chicago, so it kind of takes a twist, and suddenly you're having to deal with a serial killer in your territory and your turf now. So, um, it's definitely you have to learn the ways of a cop kind of thing, so they had an advisor come serious crimes, just dealt with murders in Scotland. Not that we have that many, but 20 years of experience, so there's a lot of learning from him as well, and the procedural things as well. So, but it's just gritty, and that's what I really love about Damaged is it's a gritty serial killer, noir style. We're used to there's so many ones came out recently and they haven't quite ticked the boxes.
Mm.
I feel like because I love the genre, I haven't quite ticked the boxes, but I felt like the one good thing at the UK is this gritty crime drama. So if you can incorporate that in the movie, which it has, and in the backdrop of Scotland, then I feel like you're bringing in this fish out of water, Sam Jackson, that comes over from Chicago, and Vincent Cassel. It just had the elements. So that's I think that's what makes it special.
Did you do any special preparations on this role? I mean, especially since he's a police officer and detective.
Yeah, I mean, I've played detectives in America, so I've had proper gun training and whatnot for safety and shooting. But um, yeah, we had, as I said, we had an advisor on set all the time, and he would make sure that obviously you don't follow the letter to the law because it's a movie and you don't want to see the boring parts.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, apart from that,
How about
what,
getting the getting into the headspace of Boy because he changes quite a bit from, beginning to end.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'd lost somebody very close to me a month prior to principal photography, so I had a lot of grief within me, which I couldn't really shake off. It's inside. You kind of put it to the side a bit when you're working. So it worked really well for the character because, as I said, he loses his kid, his son, at the start of the movie. So there was grief, and he's trying to work through his marriage, dealing with the grief. Um, so yeah, so that was put to use as a as a method, the method acting.
So how much of the stunts in this film is actually, you rather than
The
rather.
running is me. All the running, all the running through the streets was me. Let me just tell you that everything because they had a body double run, and then when I came to set, I run and I ran probably double the speed and my way of running it was double the speed of how the double ran. And they couldn't use any of the like, listen, you've run too fast, we can't use it. Are you okay with redoing what he did? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then in the scene, I'm chasing John Hannah, and John
Mm.
Hannah runs half marathons. So this guy's like, no problem, let's do it again, no problem. And there's me just running up and down hills, running up and down hills. But no, it was fine.
It's always fun for actors to do their own stunts. Don't you agree?
Well, it depends. Depends. Through my years, I've reneged on some, but I think that's for the better reasons. Leave it to the pros.
Now I do have to mention that this movie Damage has a wonderful cast that they actually brought into this. You mentioned John Hannah, Samuel L. Jackson, Kate Dickey. Talk about working with a lot of well-known cast for yourself, and you yourself anchored the entire film.
Yeah, there was this great pressure put on me. you know, you better do well. No, it was not like that at all. I've worked with a lot of folk throughout the years, and I've had the privilege to do so. But yeah, Kate, I've never worked. Vincent Cassel, I've always looked up to him. I always thought he's such a cool collective actor. And obviously Sam's just, highest grossing box office actor of all time. So you turn up and as long as you focus on you do your work well and the chemistry as well. It's all about the chemistry. If the chemistry works out well, then it'll be enjoyable and it's fun. And that's the thing with Sam. It's like you want two opposite end of the spectrum. With Sam being him and playing Lawson and me playing more gritty Scottish detective. It's that kind of chemistry that I think makes it different, and I think that will help make it stand out from some of the more recent ones. But yeah, Dark. It's honestly he's absolute sheer class, and they're such nice people. At the end of the shooting, you would go out for dinner, you have a drink in the lobby or something, and it was really good. The camaraderie was because we're there for such a long time. You do movies sometimes, and somebody turns up for a week or so or 5 days, but Sam was there for weeks and weeks. So it was it's your family at the end of the day.
And I was gonna say you yourself you're native what Scottish yourself, so you completely understand actors going overseas because you do that a lot with American projects.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I've been in America. I've been in LA. I moved to LA about I don't know 20 odd years ago, and now I live in Vegas. So, but I mean, I never shoot in Vegas, and you never really shoot in LA. I think last time I shot in LA was like 2013. So, you're either getting sent to Louisiana, Alabama, but it was really nice to be able to go to Scotland and have this closeness with friends. And you say, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Come and set. I'll put you in the bar. I'm in a scene in the bar. I'll put you in the back of the bar. Just come in." And they're like, "Okay, okay." And they get a chance to experience like what your life is like. You're not, because they're never going to fly to Alabama or Kentucky or Louisiana or somewhere. So it was good times.
And in your cinematic history, because you have done these a lot of different types of films, especially, action films, and probably seen countless of dead bodies. What was it like to see these cadavers in a murder mystery like this?
Yeah, they were quite realistic, weren't they? Yeah, they. I mean, I just, you've got to remember that they're not real, And my 7 year old daughter, 6 year old at the time, my 6 year old daughter would come to the set and she'd be like, "Dad, Dad," I'm like, "No, don't worry, it's not real, hun. Don't worry about it," Um, and in fact, I brought her back a foot, just to show her, I was like, "Look, there's a foot for you. You can keep it." But yeah, no, it was very graphical. But that's the grittiness that the director kind of wanted to go for.
That is true. Well, let me start wrapping things up. So, what is up next the pipeline that you could talk about for yourself?
I did a movie last October, November called Unholy Trinity, which is a Western shot in Montana. And I was lucky enough to work with Sam Jackson again in it. And with the likes of Pierce Brosnan as well. So, and the cast was really good as well. Quite the cast. Ethan Peck, who I love as a guy, brilliant guy. Um, and we shot that Western in Montana. I was up there for 2 months or something last year, the end of last year. So, yeah, that'll come out after Damage, but I don't know when. Probably the end of the year, if not start next. But
Well said, well said. Well, let me say one last thing, because I've seen you in many projects, and speaking to you, you this is your natural accent. How easy is it to drop this accent and adopt all these other accents throughout your entire projects?
it's not easy. And then, but if I was to do an interview and I was talking, I had to put like an American. Like my friends would call me up and go, "Where are you from? Have you forgot where you're from?" Like, so hats off to the Jerry Butlers of the world who, mix it up sometimes and whatnot. But yeah, I've done American, probably more American than anything. So um, yeah.
Well, you know what? Hats off to your acting skills, especially here in Damage, because it's so riveting from beginning to end. Everyone's gonna definitely going to scratch their heads trying to guess who's the real villain in here. So thank you very much for this
Thank
conversation.
you so much. Thanks. Cheers.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.